understand that you all have very busy schedules, so I want to tell you how much I appreciate that you're sharing some of your valuable time with me today. My name is Savannah Ross, and before I move ahead, I want to invite you to go to richmom.com, that's RICHMOM.com, where you'll be able to download a copy of The Secret Weapon. Now, this is a free gift that I'm offering to you. We've gotten a lot of really amazing feedback, and I'm sure that you'll find it to be quite valuable. So please go ahead to richmom.com and download that free gift just for you. I want to give you a little bit of background. Some of you may not know my story. There's a lot of information that you'll find online. But just to give you a little quick synopsis, a few years ago I found myself in an extremely desperate situation. Having lived a fairly middle-class lifestyle, I thought things were pretty comfortable. We were living paycheck to paycheck but doing quite well, both of us having a good employment and moving along just fine. I was self-employed at the time as a makeup artist. Now, within a few months, so much chaos hit our family that we found ourselves in a really, really desperate situation, both financially and emotionally. It all started with a house fire that we had, and within the next few weeks, I lost my 6-month-old niece. My husband ended up going on strike with his employment, and the worst of it came when I was told that my 11-month-old son had less than a day to live. Now, you can't even imagine what kind of a situation that we were in. But after sitting there for 8 weeks, at his bedside, waiting for my son to take his last breath, I was able to take him back home where he was living on a lot of machines, and I found myself $400,000 in debt, on the brink of bankruptcy, and our house was being foreclosed on. I did not know how on earth I was going to get out of this situation. I didn't have the luxury of being able to go to a traditional job because I had to stay home to take care of my toddler and a very sick infant. But in addition to that, I didn't know of any job that I could find, or even a home-based business where I could make some insane amount of money in a really short period of time. And that's really what I needed to do in order to save us from the financial downfall that we were facing. So I started really thinking about the options that were available to me out there. I see kids driving around in SUVs and BMWs that work at Starbucks, and I think there's got to be something more to all of this. There's some people out there in the world that are making an insane amount of money. And what I came up with is that most of the people that I know of that have a lot of money are either professional athletes, they're celebrities, or maybe they're involved in some criminal activity like drug dealing, or who knows what else is involved in that whole world. And then there's people out there who are making a lot of money in real estate investing. And I thought, well, that third option was the only one that was available to me. And I started doing some research. I was really disappointed with what I found out there, but I did realize that it was the only option that I had at the time, so I had no choice but to start putting together a plan and making it happen. Now, for some of you, and which definitely was an issue for myself, is I was faced with the idea of having to deal with all these tenants. I didn't have the option of being able to leave my child at home to go and deal with leaky toilets or having to paint apartments. And I thought, how am I going to make this work? Now, anyone who starts investing in real estate quickly learns that you need to build a team. You have teams of lawyers, accountants, bookkeepers, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, inspectors, appraisers. Those are all part of building a real estate investment team. But many of us feel that we have to take over the job of the property manager. Now, it wouldn't dawn on you to go out and get your legal degree just so that you can finish your own conveyancing, but yet somehow we think that we have to take over the property management. Well, I'm here to give you some really great news. There is a huge difference between being a property manager and being an investor. And those of you that can really grasp that will understand that there is no money to be made in managing your own property. In fact, I totally believe that the number one reason why people fail as investors is because they have chosen to manage their own real estate. And it's, a common concern for everyone. Now, we sit there and think, well, why would I want to give away a percentage of my income? But the truth is by giving away a small percentage of your income, you gain back a large percentage of your time. So even if you're giving 10% away to property management, if you're gaining 90% of your time back, it makes a lot more sense, not only for time freedom, but even for financial freedom. You give away a little and you gain so much more. So by getting back 90% of your time, you can use that to create even more investments, to grow an even larger portfolio, which in the end is going to make you even more money. So it's not limiting. You're actually not giving anything away by having a property manager. You're actually giving more money away by managing your own real estate. Does that make sense? So a small percentage of money gives you back a large percentage of your time. You're not losing anything. Now, in addition to that, when you open yourself up to hiring a property management team, you're opening up the entire world as your place to invest. When you choose to manage your own real estate, you're limited to where you can buy. You're not going to want to drive, 50 hours to your property to go and change a leaky toilet or to go and deal with a tenant issue. So as soon as you put a property management team in place, you're now opening yourself up to the opportunity to invest anywhere. Isn't that great? Now, some of you may live in a community where it just doesn't make sense to invest. Sometimes the numbers just don't work. And so by allowing yourself the freedom of not worrying about property management, you're now opening the entire door so that you can buy properties in the right place where the money and the numbers do make sense. Now, in the real estate success system that I teach, I go through all the details of property management. I'll teach you how to find, how to interview, and how to hire your own property management team. I also talk a little bit about hiring a property management company and the pros and cons of doing both. Now, I personally am a little bit of a control freak. I like to make sure that I have my finger on the pulse and that I know what's happening. I like to be able to manage my own investments and make sure that they're protected. So I'm going to teach you how you can actually end up spending 2% instead of 10% by building your own property management team. You're still going to have the time freedom, but you're not going to lose the control that you have in making sure that you're protecting your investment. In addition to that, I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself from any potential tenant issues, because that's always a big concern. Now, people tell all kinds of nasty stories about tenants. Well, I'm here to tell you that over the last few years, I've had thousands of tenants, and I've had very few tenant issues. One of the reasons is because I believe to be proactive and to avoid issues in the first place by screening tenants and doing a really good job in placing proper tenants in the units. But in addition to that, I really believe that if you've got a great property management team in place that are following everything by the book, that you're going to have a lot less issues. Now, it's only common and only, I guess, normal for people to complain about negative things. Now, if you, for instance, went to the hairdressers and got a really nice haircut, you're probably not going to go around telling all your friends about this great haircut that you got. You're going to sound like Mr. Ego, that look at how hot my hair looks and this is how it went down, and you're not going to refer all your friends to your hairdresser because you're so excited about your haircut. But if the opposite are true and you went and got a really bad haircut and you just hated it, you would probably want to warn all your friends and tell everybody not to go there. And that happens with just about anything in life. So that's why we hear so many more negative stories about bad tenants, because we want to protect everybody. We talk about all the bad things, but we don't go around telling people about all the great tenants that we have. So out of all of the thousands of tenants that I've had over the years, I've had very few issues. And those that I have had have come through purchasing a property with bad tenants. And I was quick to be able to remove those tenants from the property so I didn't have to deal with them long term. So I just want you to know that it's not nearly as scary as you think. And if that isn't enough, think about when you were younger and when you were a tenant. Did you, trash the place? Did you burn the place down? Did you run off in the middle of the night? Chances are you probably didn't. And those issues are always made out to be so much bigger than they are. Anyone who has any source of income, a traditional job, try to tell me that you don't have any headaches at your work. So definitely, I have had some challenges with tenants. They've been very few and far between, and they've been a lot less severe than what I expected them to be. But there are challenges out there in any venue or any avenue where you're going to create some income. So I just want to put your mind at ease in understanding that it's not nearly as bad as you think it's going to be. But through the real estate success system, I'm going to teach you exactly how to avoid all of those challenges and how to deal with challenges that may come along the way so they don't become a really big headache. Now, having the opportunity to invest anywhere opens up a huge door. Now, some of you may be looking at real estate in your neighborhood right now and thinking, I just don't know how I can make this work. But imagine if you could buy real estate anywhere. When you hand everything over to a property management team, there's absolutely no reason for you to be local to that property. In fact, I own real estate that I've never seen. I have a team in place that does the research for me. I'll have an inspector go in and inspect the property. In this day and age with the internet, we have cameras, we have all kinds of different resources, video cameras and everything. I can get all the information that I need without actually visiting the property. I don't physically need to travel to a location to see a property in order to purchase it because I've got such a solid team in place. And in the Rich Mom Success System, I actually teach you how to do team building as well, so that you're putting the right people in place that you can trust and that you can know that your investment is really secure. Now, in the property management, what I prefer to do personally is I prefer to hire and build my own property management team. I have in the past worked with property management companies for very short term, but what I've found is that they charge a lot of money and they do very little of the things that need to be done. I would prefer to hire a couple where the man is very handy and can deal with all of the minor repairs and maintenance of the property, and where his wife will take care of all the paperwork, any tenancy issues, rent collections, or even if they have to hand out notices to have the tenants evicted. That way I'm getting everything done for a very small price. I get my maintenance and my management at the same place. When I've hired a property management company in the past, what they'll tend to do is call the plumber to fix a leaky tap and charge me $150, where a property manager who also does maintenance can fix a leaky tap for $1.50 by buying a brand new washer and just replacing it. It takes 5 minutes. So there is a lot of money to be saved by building your own property management team. You also get to have all the control as well, because you can train them to manage the properties the way you want them done, not the way property management has their systems in place. Does that make sense? Okay, so our system, the Real Estate Success System, not only covers every single aspect of property management, but it will also teach you everything from how to research to make sure that you're buying the right properties at the right time and in the right locations. Also, we talk through research about doing police reports to make sure that you're buying properties in a really safe area, that you're not going to be dealing with any major issues, because oftentimes when you don't know the area, there can be things that'll come up, and sometimes real estate agents that are desperate to unload their properties are going to try to unload them on a buyer that's not familiar with the area. So research is quite in depth, and I make sure that you feel really comfortable in knowing that you're purchasing the right properties in the right locations at the right time, and the right kind of properties as well. There's a really big difference between buying single family homes and buying a 60-unit apartment building or anything in between. So we'll break it all down and go through every single aspect of that. I also talk a lot about what kind of tenants you want to deal with. So in property management segment and also in the research segment, we'll talk about the different types of tenants that are out there, different classes that they fall within, and what kind of tenants you would prefer to have. When I started investing in real estate, I pretty much had my mindset that I wanted to rent to a certain class of people, and I quickly learned that I was on the wrong track. So my experience hopefully will be able to share that with you and will help you to start off on a much better path to success. We also teach a lot about team building. It's important to make sure that you have a team in place so that you don't only have financial freedom, but also have time freedom and stress freedom. When you have a team that you can trust and you know that they're working in your best interest, you're going to have less stress to deal with and a whole lot more time on your hands, because you can actually have your team deal with 95% of all of the aspects of investing in real estate. You're going to learn how to interview, how to hire, and where to find some of the best team members that you need. Also, through our program, we do a lot of interviews with different experts, so you may even find that you'll meet the people that you want to add to your team right through our Real Estate Success System. I also teach a lot about financing, because that can be a big question for a lot of people too. Remember, when I started, I was $400,000 in debt. I had bad credit, didn't have any money, and I was just absolutely on paper in no situation to be able to invest. In addition to that, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, I just didn't have anything more to give. So it was important to me to learn how to build a right team and how to put the financing in place for me so that I didn't have to worry about that on my own. Anyone can get a mortgage. That's exactly what I said. I know some of you are thinking, oh, you don't know my situation, but I'm here to tell you, anyone can get a mortgage. Now, not everyone is going to get the best kind of mortgage, but anyone can get a mortgage. And I will teach you through the financing module how to get the best mortgage for your situation, okay? In addition, I also teach about asset protection, because there's no point in building an asset portfolio if you're not going to protect it and make sure that it doesn't get lost. We talk a lot about legals, financing, and mindset around being a successful real estate investor. We go through a whole lot of negotiation, which is a lot of fun. I love to negotiate, and I like to teach people how to negotiate and how to put in offers that are going to win every time. Having private purchases versus MLS listings is also going to be a big segment that we talk about, because it's a whole different approach when you're dealing with a seller versus dealing with a real estate team. So we talk about that throughout the program as well. But basically, in the real estate success system, I teach you every single thing that I have learned along the way of dealing with buying, purchasing, and holding a really successful real estate portfolio. I've learned a lot throughout the years. I've gotten some good lessons along the way. And just like any parent wants to hopefully have their children avoid learning the lessons the way we did the hard way, I'm hoping that my experience and my teachings are going to help you become more successful on being on an easier path and avoiding any of the potential challenges as you go along on your path to freedom. Now, property management, again, is a really big concern for a lot of people. But if you can just accept the fact that you don't need to manage your own property, it opens up a whole other avenue for you to have freedom to be able to spend your time in the areas that are really important. You should be looking for more deals, investing in more properties, and building a really big empire. That's where the money really comes in. Some people are comfortable with buying 1 or 2 duplexes, but at the end of the day, huge financial freedom will come from building a bigger portfolio. And along with financial freedom, you'll want to have time freedom to enjoy all those new resources, have the time to be able to spend with those that you love the most, and have the time to be able to build that portfolio even further. So today I wanted to give you a really incredible offer. If you click on the link below, you're going to see some more information there. There is an offer available for those of you who are really serious about moving forward with your goals. Those of you that are ready to take action, I've got a really incredible offer for you that I hope you'll take advantage of. And remember, before you get done with the video today, make sure that you go to richmom.com and download that free gift that I have for you. I really look forward to spending time with you again, and I hope that you found some really great value in our talk today.